Welcome to Hogaak, the Arisen Necropolis. Hope you're excited to get some good graveyard action going for today. But as far as our opening hand goes, man, I'm so tempted to keep on this one. In fact, I am. We've only got one black source, and that's Urborg. But, man, as far as getting your graveyard going, Commune with the Gods, Mulch, Life from the Loam, Wood Elf, Solano, this is... if you're keeping score at home, now is officially time to pray to the magic gods that we run into a green source. We don't get stuck on one land for the rest of the time. But yeah, this is a beautiful opening hand, and we're playing against Atraxa, so that's why I'm kind of keeping this hand, because it really allows us to get off to a really nice start if we can hit that green source. But while our opponent's deciding if they want to mulligan or not, we'll let them do that, and then we'll jump into the game. Okay, an opponent will end up holding at 6. So let's go ahead and get down to Urborg for the turn, and yeah, like I said, we're going to keep those fingers crossed. So, let's go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing Hogaak, and if I'm saying that wrong, I do apologize, and please limit it to only one comment of saying how to correctly pronounce it. But also, I keep thinking of Hodor from Game of Thrones every time I see this. So, anyway. You cannot spend mana to cast a spell. It has Convoke and Delve. So with Convoke, we can tap a creature, or Delve, we can delve away cards in the graveyard to help us cast it. Convoke, we can tap a black or green creature to add color mana to our mana pool. So that's how you get to cast Hogaak and get it on the battlefield. And that's a very Golgari way to do it. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed for that land. Let's go, green source, come on. The magic gods are looking out for us. So we're going to crack this Marsh Flats. Our opponent was never knew what was going on. They just thought we kept a good two-lander. We're going to go Bayou. And I think at this point, we just go Life from the Loam, because we want to just start making these land drops, and we want to start dredging. We've got Reanimate. We'll be able to bring that back, and we're pass turn over our opponent. So we're playing Atraxa. Flying and Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink did at the beginning of your instep proliferate. So there we go. I'm laughing because I get lucky sometimes, and that feels pretty good. So that's probably the best thing that could have gone, would be a fetch land on top of our library. We did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. So you can build your very own Golgari graveyard where Hogaak can come out and impress your friends. Maybe you want to bring him over to your mom's house and show off, hey, this is Hogaak, my new boyfriend. He's a little dead person. Whatever you want to do. Anyway, MTGOTraders has it over there. Be sure to check them out. And they've got all the new Modern Horizon cards in stock, so make sure you go over there and check them out. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam, because we want to get that graveyard going. And we do not hit a land for the turn, but I think if we go Marsh Flats, yeah, let's crack Marsh Flats. We're going to shock in Overgrown Tomb. We want to be aggressive on this one. Yeah, we're going to pay 2 life. We're going to go for Lotto War Elves. And we're going to go for Mulch, because we really want to do is we just want to get this graveyard set up for a good Life from the Loam. So we're going to grab Nurturing, which is a brand new, one of the new not fetch lands, but sack lands from the new set. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. I did cover both commanders, started empty. Oh, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel out at the same time. Whether you're in the market for a playmat or a t-shirt, you can actually go to their website, type in Jolt539 to see some of my cool playmat designs, or you can click on the link down in the description below to apply that coupon. Last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. You can get your name in the beginning or the ending of the credits, and if you cannot contribute to the Patreon, hey, no pressure. Tell somebody about the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. It'd be pretty nice. So let's see if we can't. Ooh, this is... get some good stuff going. Now here's the downside, is we don't really have a lot of good lands in the graveyard. We still got Marsh Flats. So I think at this point, I think we just want to really start going for like Wood Elves and District Guide. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because if we go Wood Elves, that's going to be 1. We can tap this down for a Swamp. Lano War Elves. Let's go Wood Elves. Have that enter the battlefield. Search your library for Forest. And that allows us to go for District Guide. So we're going to grab... Forest, have that come into play. There we go. Let's go District Guide, and I'm pretty sure I put a Guild Gate in here. Keeping my fingers crossed that I did put a Guild Gate, because I don't want to make District Guide mad, but I'm pretty sure there's a Guild Gate in here. So we're going to have District Guide enter the battlefield, and we're going to slowly start working towards Hogaak. As you can tell, we can delve away some pretty good stuff, and we're already going to be able to have an 8/8 on the battlefield on turn 4, so that's definitely a good way to kind of keep up with Atraxa, some of the busted things they do. So let's go District Guide. And we do have a few Delirium cards in here. Aha, we do have that Guild Gate. Let's get that popped out. We're going to grab that Guild Gate, and that's going to go into our hand and then pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, Now it's officially free time. We can have some fun. But we do have Delirium in here, so we do have an active Delirium. The other thing is that we do have a few Delve spells in here. Now, one of the cool ways that you can really make a really nice Hogaak deck is, of course, we care about cards in the graveyard. We can reanimate on something like Weaponcraft Enthusiast, and I couldn't remember what that was. And then that allows us to get a few extra tokens on the battlefield. We can tap in Hogaak for that extra Delve stuff. So, but I think what we might end up doing is holding on to Reanimate just to kind of see if we can't grab something like, we do have Crater Reef in here, so if we can get a few extra creatures, and that's kind of what we want to go for. Life from the Loam, we can dredge a little bit more. Let's go Commune with the Gods, because at this point, what we can do with Commune with the Gods is basically just kind of set up a little bit extra delve for Hogaak. So we're going to go Commune with the Gods, reveal the top 5 cards of our library, put a creature or enchantment from them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. And if you like the lounge, you may want to watch out for this Friday. Might be playing a creature in the lounge this Friday. So if you enjoy Commander, multiplayer Commander, there you go. Oh, look at that. That is, so we've got Grim. I'm almost tempted to go for Grim Flayer. Underrealm Lich would be nice, but that's going to be us tapping out for 5. Yeah, I like Grim Flayer. So we're going to grab Grim Flayer. Both of our lands enter the battlefield tapped, unfortunately. So we can at least still go. And actually, no, I think we can do this. So we go Grim Flayer. It's green-black. And that's the cool thing about this deck is when we get Hogaak going, awesome. If not, then this is just Golgari All-Stars right here that care about Graveyard. So that's some really good. So we're going to try to see if we can't get Grimflayer to stick. It's going to be a 2-2. It will be a 4-4 once it does enter the battlefield because we do have 4 card types in our graveyard. And then that still should put us in a spot where we can exile enough stuff. We can exile 5 cards and then tap down Wood Elves and District Guide, or simply just leave up Nurturing Peatland and then go from there. So once this resolves, then we'll see what else we can do. So that's going to enter the battlefield. Let's go for Hogaak. And I don't know what the different casts are. So we're going to get Hogaak into the battlefield. That's going to be 8-8. And you can see where we're able to tap down our 2 District Guides and still leave up a little bit of mana. So let's go and have Jungle Hollow enter the battlefield. That's going to allow us to gain a life. Now we do have Reanimate. We could Reanimate on Underrealm Lich. But just in case our opponent's trying to set up a board wipe or something. Oh, dang it. I accidentally delved away our Grimflayer. Oh, that's a bummer. Sorry about that. That's my fault. That might put us in a spot where we end up going life from the loam just to kind of reset that. Because I think, yeah, sorry about that. I saw the 5 creature cards and thought that was our Delirium. So accidentally got rid of Delirium. So we'll still end up going for life from the loam. We'll dump that into the graveyard. That way, hopefully, we can kind of reset on the dredge option. Let's see what they're tapping out for. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to exile. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're going to send him back to the graveyard. The good thing about him is that he's very resilient. So we're going to go Ancient Tomb and Marsh Flats. We're going to put both of those into our hands. So it's going to be green from Lano War Elves. And we'll tap down with Urborg. That we can bring both of those back. And the next turn, hopefully we can end up with a 4-4 Grimflayer. If we don't, it's not the end of the world having a 4-4. Because the main thing is we just want to get that Grimflayer trigger. Now, if we can end up getting a 4-4, that puts us in a spot where we can trade with the Atraxa. But you can see where next turn we can already almost recast Hogaak. And if we tap down the entire crew, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to be 4 of it right there. We do need to get our graveyard going just a little bit more to kind of support some of that delve option. But with Life from the Loam, oh, there we go. We got Delirium back. Sorry, Grimflayer. Sorry about that. That's a little bit of my fault. So we get, hey, instant speed. We got Sad Robot, and that's going to be us swinging in. So let's go Grimflayer. And, if the opponent's going to have some removal, I kind of like just being a little bit of pressure on this one. So we're going to go ahead and swing in with Grimflayer. I don't think we necessarily need to go for Hogaak again just yet, because now that I think about it, if they didn't go for a board wipe last turn, that kind of puts us on something like Crux of Fate. So let's just go and swing it with the entire crew. That's going to be 4, 7 coming across, put them down to 22. And we'll get that Grimflayer trigger, which will really help us kind of start putting some good delve in there. Let's put, yeah, I think I'm just going to go dump all these into the graveyard. With Damnation, Wooded Foothills, and Blooming Marsh. That's good. And then let's see what else we run into. I think we might, even though I'm worried about running into a board wipe, I think I kind of like going Reanimate on Underrealm Lich. Well, actually, let's do this. If they end up tapping out for Atraxa, I really like the Reanimate on Fleshback Marauder. I feel that's going to be a little bit more high impact. So, Life from the Loam, there's 3 lands. We've got a lot of lands in our hand. So let's just go and lead off with Golgari Guildgate. Let's go Life from the Loam in the graveyard. We're going to grab Blooming Marsh and Lana Warwaste. Click OK. Still want to leave up that active. There we go. Get that into the graveyard. And one of the cool things about Life from the Loam is that when you're playing a graveyard deck, Life from the Loam, even though we're dredging it every single turn, it's basically almost kind of like draw 3, the way this deck is set up, because it is graveyard. You know, we have Reanimate, and that's kind of going to keep us on for whatever sort of creature we want to dump in the graveyard. And at this point, if they don't get down some sort of threat, we're just going to slowly swing in for about a 3-turn clock with some of our creatures swinging in for 7. It's going to be 7, 14, 21. So that'll be a good way that we can at least kind of just attack their life total. And if they're not going to be doing anything, that's exactly what we're going to do with Grim Flayer. And still, once again, we're going to leave up Reanimate on Fleshbag Marauder, because that's going to be really hard for them to bounce back from. So Stretch Life from the Loam. It's going to be a Glowspore Shaman, Vampiric Tutor, and that. Let's go and swing in with the entire crew once again. Once we get Lana War Elves into the mix, that kind of speeds it up just a little bit. So we're going to swing in. It's going to be exactly 8. It's going to be 8, 16, 24. So, and we'll also get that good Grim Flayer trigger. Ooh, Dread Return in the graveyard, Store Rev, and then Molder Hoke. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to dump that in the graveyard. Do we want to put that on? No, we'll put that in the graveyard. That's fine. And then, now with Dread Return, we can sacrifice a few of our creatures, but I think at this point, we're just going to go for Life from the Loam again. Click OK. We don't even necessarily really need to bring a land back. Attack down this Golgari Guildgate. We'll go for Blooming Marsh, have that come into play tapped, and then kick it back over to our opponent. So we got them swinging in next turn, and we're just going to wait for them to just get anything out there and start swinging with a few of these creatures. But that's one of the fun things about playing this deck is that, you know, once you just kind of create this Golgari loop of graveyard and hand and board state, it's just so much value. Of course, you know, something like Rest in Peace is not fun to play against. You want to run Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy to take care of it. But if they just don't immediately have any sort of board wipe protection, then, or at least any sort of graveyard hate, then it's hard for them to do anything. All right, so we're going to see Atraxa enter the battlefield. They do have Lana Warwaste up, but like I mentioned, I still like going for that Reanimate on Fleshbag. That's going to get that commander attack going back up, and hopefully just make it a problem for our opponents. They're going to be able to proliferate on nothing, which is one of the best Atraxa triggers. And let's see what we run into. We're going to Dredge Life from the Loam. Mana Crypt, Field of Ruin. Yeah, let's go for that Reanimate on, actually, if we go Ravenous Chupacabra, that'll be better. All right, so we're going to go Ravenous Chupacabra, 1 black mana. And look at that Reanimate on Grave Titan art. Oh, that's pretty good. We're going to have Ravenous Chupacabra enter the battlefield. We're going to destroy Atraxa, and then that should be good. Even if we want to leave up a little bit of extra, but we've got a good clock of just elves being able to close it out, utility elves. So Reanimate on Ravenous Chupacabra. Okay, so our opponent's going to go Force of Will. Very nice. So they're going to exile Hinder, and I like that. So they're going to Force of Will on Reanimate. Yeah, they're going to get it. So that's going to stop it. That's going to get rid of Ravenous Chupacabra. We've got Dread Return, which I think we want to go for, because that's a pretty big tempo loss for them. Yeah, let's do it like this. So we go Marsh Flats. That's going to be an extra land. That's going to be an extra delve. We're going to crack Marsh Flats. Still should be some swamps left in our library. Because what we can do is we can Dread Return on this. So we're going to go for Hogaak. So we're going to have Hogaak enter the battlefield. And then after this, I think we still end up going Dread Return. Yeah, so we're going to choose Ravenous Chupacabra. We're going to sacrifice Lana War Elves, Wood Elves, and District Guide. And then we're going to bring back Ravenous Chupacabra. And then really let Grim Flayer just get in there. And the thing about Grim Flayer that always makes me laugh is he's so creepy looking. Like, I know he's just loving all this carnage and destruction. And, like, I mean, just look at him. He's a weird dude. Let's go and swing in with Grim Flayer. That's going to be a full force. So we can set up some more stuff in the graveyard. And we also still have Active Delirium, which is really nice. So we're going to swing in for 4. It's going to put them down to 9. Let's get this Grim Flayer trigger. Ooh, Dead Bridge Chant. Yeah, I like that. Talisman, and then Swamp into the graveyard. We're going to click OK. And then we're going to put Dead Bridge Chant into our graveyard. And let's go Life from the Loam. Do we make the land drop for the turn? We have. And actually, yeah, we'll just go and leave that. I guess we have the extra mana. Might as well just go and put Life from the Loam in the graveyard. We're going to grab Field of Ruin. And we will not dredge next turn because we're going to go for that Dead Bridge Chant. Also, shout out to Eli for reminding me about Dead Bridge Chant. He loves that card, and he always tells me to put it in my Golgari decks. And I always forget sometimes, and then sometimes, with a deck like this is perfect. So, very nice to have that. So, let's see what our opponent's going to get down. At this point, we've got Grimflayer, 4/4 Trample. We've got Hogaak. That's going to be an 8/8 with Trample. So, we've got a way to kind of put some pressure on our opponent. Now, if they end up tapping down Atraxa again, we do have to watch out for that because it does have lifelink that's going to allow them to gain some life, but we can just swing in Hogaak. Ooh. Okay, so they're going to go Terminus, so we've got ourselves a game. We'll put those on the bottom in any order, and the shoots in Hogaak back to the command zone. Yeah, I got a little worried for a second. So now we need to get a few more creatures on the battlefield, so we're going to end up going for Dead Bridge Chant. Not going to dredge life from the loam. And let's get that down. We're going to put the top 10 cards of our library. And this is such a Golgari game. I'm loving this. Even if we don't win, if our opponent somehow stabilizes, the fact that we've gotten to do a lot of this stuff, that is just everything this deck wants to do. So I'm happy to be able to show this off. Field of Ruin, exotic orchard that a land could produce. Now, if we end up actually going Field of Ruin on Tundra, that's going to get rid of an island. Might end up kind of going for that. Yeah, let's go Field of Ruin on Tundra. That does cut us off no, everybody can grab a basic. So we're gonna pop Tundra. Normally I don't do this, but at this point right now, since we have no card draw and we have no creatures, I'm gonna try to just cut them down on mana just a little bit. So, and Field of Ruin is one of the land destructions that I typically enjoy running because you can get some pretty good stuff moving. All right, so they grab a plains. All right, so we do cut them off. They don't have a blue island, and it's gonna cut them off blue mana. So we're simply just going to go and pass the turn. We do have open Peatland, so we can go for this activation to draw a card. But yeah, like I mentioned, typically I don't go for advantage land destruction like that. But there's just sometimes where you got to play to your outs, and if we're going to try to close this one out, we at least want to cut them off any sort of extra blue mana. So let's go and crack this nurturing Peatland. That way we can get Hogaak back on the battlefield. And it is nice to have a green-black land that is just like Canopy Horizons. Doing a dredge, life from the loam, yeah, I think we do, just to be able to have that option of drawing a few more extra cards. So we're going to have life from the loam. We're going to have that Dead Bridge Chant. Return a card at random. Get the forest back to our hand. And we don't want to dredge Golgari Grave Troll. And then, Mancer, that's going to be a good option for us. So beginning of each upkeep. So we're going to go ahead and go life from the loam. That way we can just kind of keep up that card draw. And we already hit Dread Return. And I know Hogaak might be in the way of the graveyard, so I'm going to pop that up just a little bit. So let's go life from the loam on Field of Ruin. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll just go grab Woodland Cemetery. That's going to be double green. What we might end up doing is alternating, but I really want to cash in this card draw. So we could go Field of Ruin again and really just kind of pop them out of the way with extra stuff. But once we get down Mancer, we can't unfortunately cast Hogaak right now. But yeah, let's see if we can't get an extra creature down. Because if we can get an extra creature down, that'll put us on Hogaak, and that'll hopefully get us to a point where we can start swinging in at our opponent. All right, so let's go ahead and sacrifice this to draw a card. All right, so we run into Wasteland. Okay, anything else, we're going to go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we will end up getting a snake token during our opponent's upkeep. So once we get that snake token, that's going to allow us to hopefully cast Hogaak next turn. And then we can kind of start swinging in. And yeah, outside of that, I'm trying to think of stuff that we haven't seen. So we do have Creekwood Liege. It's another option that we can end up going for. We do have Living Death. So if we can find ourselves Living Death, I don't think we've run into Living Death in the graveyard yet. No, excuse me, it is there. Eternal Witness is in the graveyard. Do we have... No, I did not put the Golgari. What about Storev? Storev's in the graveyard too. I think we have another Reanimator spell. Maybe. We'll see. So hopefully we can get some... all of our good options aren't all in the graveyard. And we can always just hard cast just Craterhoof too, because Craterhoof is definitely not in the graveyard. So, but you can definitely see how fun playing a graveyard deck is. Even if we don't win right now, even if they stabilize, our opponent's gotten down to 80 cards in their library. We've gotten down to 41. So the fact that we've seen almost more like half the cards that our opponent has seen, that is such a good feeling. And sometimes about Magic. If you've never built a graveyard deck, it's fun to build a graveyard deck because the fun in playing this deck is not necessarily whether you win or not. It's just being able to just do some really goofy things. So, but if you're thinking about building Hogaak, um, you can go all in, you can go Voltron, you can do whatever you want. But as far as this build, I think like a little bit of just kind of a value-based deck is always a good option to go for, because you're not necessarily just stuck on Hogaak. You're not going to always be able to get your graveyard going sometimes, and there's also going to be the problem of if you can't get creatures down. You can see where, luckily, we got Mancer and Snake Token. If we don't have a producing land like that, then we're not going to be able to, or not a producing land, a creature that can produce an extra token. We're not going to be able to get down Hogaak. All right, they're going to bounce it back to the hand. But what we can do on this is we can still at least swing in with the Snake Token. And as much as I don't want to, we've got Wasteland. We may end up having just to kind of wasteland some of these islands just to kind of bottleneck them on mana. Not a huge fan of it, but at this point in the game, we're at turn 11. Turn 11 is basically, once you get past turn 10 in Commander, it's kind of anything goes. So you're kind of fighting with table scraps at this point. Do we want to... I don't think we really want to Life from the Loam. We'll see if we can't get a little bit of action. All right, so Windswept Heath, not exactly what we wanted to see. And let's do this. So we go. We need to get down Mancer. And that puts us to where we can't swing in at Jace if we end up going for this. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do this. So, because I want to get a clock going. So we're going to go Wasteland. And the next turn we can go Field of Ruin. Like I mentioned, normally I'm not a huge land destruction fan, but since we do have, this is kind of one of the win conditions that we can go for, we need to really cut them off blue mana. So we're going to pop Tropical Island. And sorry, Jones. I don't feel good about this, but if they end up stabilizing, it's going to be hard for us to do anything. So we're going to go for the Delve. It's going to be black, then black off the Snake Token. They can always -2 again on Hogaak if they want to, but that's going to get rid of it, and we can still keep the Snake Token. So let's go for the Exile effect. So at this point, let's go Worldly Tutor, Damnation. We're going to have Hogaak enter the battlefield. That does allow them to go for the -2, but at least that keeps us on the battlefield with the Snake and a gives us a 2-turn clock swinging in for 3. So we're going to have Hogaak into the battlefield. And then anything else, we've already made the land drop for the turn. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So, but yeah, this is definitely us being real grindy. And here's the other cool thing about Hogaak and Deadbridge Chant is that you can really sculpt your graveyard. There's a lot of times where you have Deadbridge Chant if you're playing a graveyard deck and you end up getting a lot of cards in the graveyard. You may not have that good of a Deadbridge Chant. At least at this one, you can choose a card at random. So we've got 21 cards in the library, so we can really kind of whittle this down and slowly work towards, getting a really nice Deadbridge Chant. Now, our opponent it looks like they shocked in a Watery Grave just to have double blue mana. So at least that put them down to 4. Let's see what they're going for. Okay, so they're going to go for Akroma's Vengeance. It's going to be 2 mana, and they did shock in to leave up double counter magic. So I think at this point, yeah. Is there anything we can do about that? No, that's it. All right. Do we want to send Hogaak back to the graveyard? No, we'll send them to the command zone. All right, let's go send them back. Unfortunately, that does take care of a Deadbridge Chant too. So now we're kind of in top deck mode, but we've got a lot of lands in our hand. So, in fact, all of our lands, all of the cards in our hand are lands. So I'm hoping at this point we'll just draw into something. If we just rip into Crater Hoof, that would be a good option for us. And we can also go for the Field of Ruin. I don't think we want to Life from the Loam because we really need to catch something. Because as far as how many reanimation spells we have, we don't really have a ton of reanimation spells in here. So I don't think Life from the Loam is exactly what we want to do at this point. So let's go ahead and go. I guess if we wanted to, we could go Golgari Grave Troll. Now let's see what we draw into. Ooh, we draw into Entomb, which is nice, but I don't think that does much for us. So we'll get this popped up. Yeah, I guess we go Field of Ruin and pop that last little island. Yeah, we're fighting with our fingernails on this one. Let's go Field of Ruin on Watery Grave. It's going to be 1-2. And then what we can do is, let's get this popped out. Do we have anything that we can Entomb? So we've got Abrupt Decay. Crater Hoof is still hanging around in here. But there's nothing that we can do to utilize the graveyard. Yeah, there's nothing we need to put in there. So at this point, we're just simply going to go and grab a 4, since we do have Urborg out there. And hopefully that's, yeah, there we go. Cut them off blue mana. Might end up going for Life from the Loam if we can, because we do need to find a way to deal with Jace. But yeah, with the Entomb, there's not really much we can do. Unfortunately, we hit some of our pretty good mill options, so anything else, we're going to go past the turn. And at this point right now, this is turn 12. I've been recording and giving commentary for like 30 minutes now, and I've recorded about an hour before this. So if I'm a little bit rambly towards the end of the video, hey, I do apologize. It's and it's also, you know, like towards the end of a video, it's been 30 minutes. You know, I don't want to lose this game. You know, we've gotten off to a pretty fun start. Like, you know, they got them all the way down to 4, and we just need to catch a creature. So I'm hoping we could just rip a Crater Hoof. That would be good. I am worried that they did shock in earlier. So I think what we might end up doing is we might end up just going Life from the Loam just to cut them off blue mana and just hope that's what ends up happening. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to dredge Life from the Loam. Hopefully it's not Crater Hoof, because that would not be fun. Okay, good. Whew, that was a close one. All right, so at this point, we're going to just try to cut them off blue mana. So we're going to go Wasteland, Field of Ruin, and then Rogue's Passage. Yeah, that'll be a good option for us. All right, so we're going to pay double green, bring all those back. We're going to go Wasteland on Hollowed Fountain, and then that'll put us on Field of Ruin next turn for Yavimaya Coast. Or if they've got a counterspell, that's fine. If they want to burn counterspell on that, we can make that work. And with Jace, if they get to that ultimate with Jace, ugh. Okay, so they're going to get summary dismissal. Okay, that gives us a little bit of time. Let's get the land drop down for the turn. We're going to go Woodland Cemetery. And we have to pay for Convoke, which we can't do that. So we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. This does go to show you that I didn't actually include something like Reassembling Skeleton or something like Bloodghast in here. So this is the first game I'm actually playing with Hogaak. So after this game, I'm definitely going to be adding that, because I can definitely see now where being able to just bring Bloodghast back really quick, being able to bring back Reassembling Skeleton after a board wipe helps you reset, because at this point we've got more than enough mana, more than enough delve in the graveyard to where we can kind of close it out. So not close it out, but at least get down Hogaak. So that is definitely something I'm going to be adding after this game. And they're finally going to go for Atraxa, so we're looking at Jace. Oh no. Okay, they're going to Scry 1. Man, I think, what if we do? I think at this point we just need to, I don't know what we can run into, close this one out. We have Gerard's Orders, which can kind of help us out. Yeah, I think we need to not Life from the Loam anymore, because now that they got Atraxa, they can get that Proliferate. Oh no, they're gonna get it. It's slipping away from us, but we've gotten down to where we've got 30 cards left in our library. All right, so we're not gonna go Life from the Loam. And then next, yeah, Life from the Loam actually got exiled, so a summary dismissal. Elvish Mystic. Okay, well, that is a creature, so we're gonna get down Elvish Mystic. I love that Elvish Mystic shows up on turn 14, like, hey, I'm ready to, stare down Atraxa, Jace is ready to proliferate, and ultimate. Let's go Elvish Mystic. And yeah, this is definitely, and also this is one of those things with Hogaak, I throw it together, and maybe I get hung up on a certain line of play. I just, forgetting about the little graveyard loop really helps, because even if you just run a few little creatures like Bloodghast and Reassembling Skeleton, or even something like Nether Trader, that really kind of helps you make sure you can get that Convoke or that Delve going, because that's, we could have swung in with Hogaak, or even just having something like, I don't have Swiftfoot Boots in here. So even if we had Swiftfoot Boots and we were able to swing in with Hogaak having Trample, that would have been another good option for us. Or you can see where we got off to such a good graveyard start. My only graveyard recursion is Eternal Witness. If we had the new Golgari broker, whatever her name is, it's the elf that's double black, double green. We can return a creature card or return a card back from the graveyard to our hand. So that's another good thing, is just, once we go full throttle, and typically when I build a new commander deck, I get to the point to where I just want to, it's kind of like turning the contrast up on a picture. I want to have one theme and hit that theme really hard. And we hit graveyard really hard on this one. And so now I know what I can kind of back off of. I know that, simply having graveyard recursion creatures kind of helps you out late game. And just kind of having a little bit of a mix on some of this stuff kind of helps us even it out a little bit. We don't necessarily have to go full throttle grave. Now, our opponent's going to go for that Jace Ultimate next turn. Huge shout out to our opponent for sticking this one out. You definitely show where the game is not over. You can definitely stabilize at 3. And not going to, well, I guess if we dredge Golgari Grave Troll, that'll give us the option for Hogaak. Yeah, might as well just go and go for that. That's at least a guaranteed creature. And the Crater Hoof is in the graveyard now. So let's go for Uncle Gary. Throwback to when I first started doing the channel, I called Go Gary Grave Troll. I said Go Gary Grave Troll, and somebody thought it was Uncle Gary. And so I was like, well, that's kind of funny. So we're going to go for Uncle Gary. If they've got a counter spell on Uncle Gary, they've got it. And then we can still at least go for Hogaak. Because if they end up going for the ultimate, maybe we can still swing in on the back end. Because we're going to have a pretty nice Uncle Gary once it comes down. Look at, typically I like to use some of the older art, but the new art on Uncle Gary, oh, that's pretty good looking. I like the kind of the wild looking zombie skeleton. It looks pretty good. So we'll see if this Uncle Gary resolves. And if not, then we're going to go for Hogaak next turn. Oh no, but it's gonna go for Void Shatter. Okay. Oh, that is brutal. Both of our not delve, but dredge options get exiled. I guess we go a lot of War Waste. And then anything else, we're simply just gonna go and pass the turn. And so they're gonna be able to go for the -8, and whenever they cast their first spell each turn, counter that spell. And I think that's gonna be good game. So on this one, we'll try. You can definitely see where, it's never over in Magic. You can always try to stabilize, and they did stabilize at 5. If we had some graveyard recursion, that would have helped a little bit. And, if that Achroma's Memorial hadn't been destroy everything, it'd just been a normal board wipe. But hey, that's Magic sometimes. They had it in there. They took care of everything, and and also with an Atraxa, the Vengeance works so well because it's going to keep your Planeswalkers on the battlefield. So. But if we're able to kind of keep that Dead Bridge chain around and start sculpting it with Hogaak, that would have been some really premium value off of that. That's a pretty cool little interaction. And, maybe tossing in a sack outlet in here too, just to kind of put some stuff into the graveyard to kind of delve away. So, but let's see what our opponent's going to be tapping out. Vraska, that is brutal. They can go for the +1. Once they get those assassin tokens going, if they simply just go for the -3, that's going to be good game because by the time they swinging Vraska, yeah, we could try to play it out, but what we've got left in the library, 28 cards, what we saw earlier, that's not going to get it done. So let's see what else they get going. All right, and then we run into Ravenous Chupacabra, but it's going to get countered. I guess technically we can go Entomb on Ravenous Chupacabra, and then go for the counter after that. That does put us in Hogaak. I mean, that's kind of the line that we need to go for. So let's go Entomb. That's going to get countered. We're going to go Ravenous Chupacabra. All right, so we're going to take care of Atraxa. They don't have a counter spell. Now that finally puts us in Hogaak range. So we're going to go and cast Hogaak. Tap down. Oh, nope, can't use that mana. We need to make sure that is green. That's going to be black. And then we're just going to start delving 11 cards away from our graveyard. Let's get rid of the instants. Okay, we're going to have Hogaak into the battlefield. We're going to go for Windswept Heath. And this is what I'm talking about. If we had somehow had Swiftfoot Boots, you can see where we could have maybe tried to close it out. But now we're staring down a -3 from Vraska. They can go for the -3. They can go for the -2 off Jace to send it back. If they end up going -2, return like Lana Werewolves back to our hand, then go for Vraska on Hogaak, still kind of gives us an option, but that still forces us to get some sort of spell to deal with the issue at hand, and that's the Jace Ultimate. So, but at this point right now, I've been yakking for about 40 minutes, so what I'm going to do on this is I'm simply just going to go ahead and let our opponent play the turn out and take a quick little break. That way I can let my voice kind of recharge. Okay, so we're going to see Atraxa enter the battlefield, but I think either way, I don't think we can close this out because we need to have at least one more spell in our hand to be able to stop something. We can get their life total down pretty low, but with that life link, they're going to be able to proliferate. That's going to put Vraska to -7 for next turn. Then go for Jace. Yeah, this is not. But yeah, what they did for the turn is they simply just +1 for Scry, tapped out for Atraxa. So, but even if we swing in with Hogaak, Hodor, I think they're going to get it. Let's see. Loras Stronghold. Okay, so let's do this. So let's go and swing in Hogaak. Yeah, let's try this. All right, so we're going to swing in Hogaak. They're going to have to go for the block on this one. Because they can go for those assassin tokens. But yeah, we're going to swing it in our opponent. That's going to be 8 coming across. So we're going to see Atraxa block. That's going to be them casting out for it. With us hitting Volrath's Stronghold, we can actually put a land on top of our library, and that'll allow us to put a creature. Oh, Swords of Plowshare. Okay, they're gonna get this one. Good game. Yeah, this is rough. All right, so we're gonna go Volrath's Stronghold. Yeah, because even if we put the creature on top, they're gonna be able to counter that one, and we can still recast it, but it's gonna be able to get countered. Well, I guess let's do it like this. So we go Volrath's Stronghold. We're gonna put Craterhoof on top of our library. Because even if we cast Craterhoof, it's going to have Trample, but then we need to get a few more. I don't know. We're trying our best at this point. All right, so we're going to put that on top, and then we'll go and pass the turn. Hopefully, we can kind of survive on this one. This has been a little bit of a long game. Okay, so our opponent's going to go for the Vraska Ultimate. Get those those 3 1/1 black assassin tokens on the battlefield. We're going to have Craterhoof on top of our library that we're going to draw into for next turn. We can cast Hogaak. They're going to be able to swing it for 4, put them back up to 10. Yeah, I just don't think there's anything that we can do. Yeah, 22. We know Craterhoof's on top. If we tap down to the 2 creatures, go for Hogaak. I think we can get close, but with that life gain from Atraxa, that's going to be a little rough. Yeah. Okay, so we draw into Craterhoof. Yeah, if we're going to do this, what we have to do is we have to go for Hogaak. We're going to cast Hogaak. That's going to be black, green, black. Okay, that's going to counter Hogaak, and then we still should have just enough to go for Craterhoof hardcast. But that's simply just going to be +3/+3, and then we still have to fight through these creatures, and if they've got a counterspell, they've got it. That's we tried our best, but you can definitely see where, we got down to like 26 cards left. All right, Dissipate. They're going to be a good game to our opponent. We'll go ahead and tap the mana down, and just get a clean little Vraska win. Grab that forest, tap the forest down. There we go. Let them get the clean Vraska win. We're going to lose that extra mana and kick it over there. Great game by our opponent. And we'll be able to get it. Yeah, it's always nice to be able to see a Vraska win. But yeah, this is pretty much what we wanted to see with Hogaak. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is the first time I'm playing with Hogaak, and so I'm definitely going to be changing a few things going forward. And so adding some graveyard recursion is definitely going to be a good thing. And simply just being able to add a little bit more, stuff like regrowth, things that just allow us to get a few extra stuff out of the graveyard. It's really going to help us. But they're going to get the 3 assassin triggers on the stack. That is wonderful. I will definitely take a loss to Vraska assassin tokens any day of the game. A good game to our opponent. Sorry for the wastelands earlier, but we kind of had to do that to hopefully kind of get a little bit of a point to where we could try to stabilize. Maybe if even tossing in something like Azusa, being able to kind of pop a few extra lands, even though it is, not the best thing we can do in Commander, but being able to kind of just replay lands out of the graveyard, get that line of play going, is something that we can do. But I am tired. That was a very long game, and I have to record a lounge after this, so hopefully the lounge is pretty good. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.